So for my entire life, there has been a villainous component to Notre Dame because they've got their own TV contract with NBC. They don't have to play in a conference. They're their own thing. They've been very easy to dislike over the years. Marcus Freeman changed that. He really did. Because Brian Kelly's a guy he's got a little stiffness to him, little rigidity, little bit of, a mercenary as a coach. Wasn't always the most likable guy at Notre Dame. Won a lot of football games, did very well, but people didn't gravitate towards him for no reason. Marcus Freeman changed that. Marcus Freeman took a Notre Dame team last year and put on in the playoff one of the best coaching performances I've seen. I don't think Notre Dame could have done better in the playoff last season. With the team that they had, the limitations, especially in the passing game, that they played a one-possession game in the national championship and were one stop from having a chance to drive for the tie, nothing short of remarkable. So he had Notre Dame kind of shifting their perception, not the Indiana way, but kind of in the Bryson DeChambeau way. I used to really not like Bryson DeChambeau. Now, Bryson's pretty cool because he got with a PR firm and he changed a lot of things about it. Well, Notre Dame's now going in the opposite direction once again. So they released this statement after being left out of the college football playoff. I had a different idea for the third segment on today's show. This quickly got inserted once Notre Dame released this. Quote, December 7th, 2025, dating it like you're writing a letter to a loved one while you're lost at sea. I don't know. As a team, we've decided to withdraw our name from consideration for a bowl game following the 2025 season. We appreciate all the support from our families and fans, and we're hoping to bring the 12th national title to South Bend in 2026. Signed, the 2025 Notre Dame football team. End quote. Oh, man. So you're playing the victim here when you lost to Miami head-to-head. And by the way, I bet a bunch of Notre Dame fans out there are pointing to Miami's 2 losses and saying, man, why is Miami in? They had these 2 horrible losses. Look at the quality of Notre Dame's losses. You sound like the SEC homers. Quality losses, man. No, we reward wins before we reward losses. You can take losses into account, but you're not rewarding them as a primary motivator for why a team should get into the college football playoff. Notre Dame has one good win on the resume. USC, good win. Beat them by 10. USC is a good team, not a great team, but a good team. They beat them by double digits. Heck, that's one of Oregon's best wins. Might be Oregon's best win overall because USC had climbed to the top 15. Game day went back to Eugene for that matchup. So Notre Dame obviously feels like they've been victimized by Regina George here. And meanwhile, they're going to opt out of the bowl game. So, but let me get this straight. You believe in South Bend that you were unfairly left out of the college football playoff. And your response to that is not to go on the field and say, I don't care who we're playing. We're going to go prove to that committee and to ourselves that we belong in the playoff field, and we're going to beat the living daylights out of them. You don't want to do that. Your answer is, I don't want to play anymore. I'm quitting. I'm done. What? How is that your response? It signed the 2025 Notre Dame football team. So you're telling me this is unanimous? What, you're boycotting the college football playoff? They were going to let you in. I mean, look, if you want to have a gripe with the committee that says something to the effect of, why were we ranked ahead of Miami the whole time? You led us to believe that we were in this position when we wound up not being there. That's fine. I think that's a fair critique of the committee. But that's a testament to the committee doing it wrong until the very last possible moment, not to Notre Dame getting robbed of a playoff spot. I'm sorry, no, they were not. Because Notre Dame had 3 legit opponents this year. They lost 2 of them. And if you want to say Miami's losses are terrible, you lost to Miami. If they can lose to Louisville and SMU and you can lose to them, not just can, but did, what does that say about your football team? I think Notre Dame is darn good. But guess what? I said from the beginning of this whole process, when Notre Dame lost their second game of the year to start the season, I said, man, I don't think Notre Dame's going to the playoff. I don't want them to get in the playoff unless they get some help. And they would have needed Miami to lose to Pitt. And then Pitt lost to Miami by a bigger margin than Notre Dame beat them by. By the way, let me just throw this out there for the Notre Dame fans that are upset about all this. Their strength of schedule is 44. Their strength of record is 13. And obviously they don't play in a conference. Miami's strength of schedule is 45, and their strength of record is 14. That's according to ESPN's metrics. BYU was the second team out, not the first team out. And BYU has a strength of schedule of 22 and a strength of record of 9 and was punished for playing in a conference championship game, which Notre Dame doesn't play in because, well, they're special and unique and, whatever. It's one of those things that I've largely been okay with over the years because it's one of those traditions in college football that makes it different from the NFL. But Notre Dame opting out of the bowl game, man, that is some weak tea. That is some weak, soft tea from the fighting Irish. How about the cowering Irish? Because, man, you actually just ran into the corner and threw a fit. That's incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. So no, Notre Dame with a schedule that's hilariously weak outside of 3 games of which they lost 2. No, I don't think they should have been in the playoff. And I can already hear some of the Notre Dame, well, if they'd thrown the holding flag. Yeah, it was a hold. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it wasn't. I cannot give you the number of games that have been severely impacted by poor officiating this year. The answer is you cannot allow it to come down to that particular situation. You were at home and Texas A&M walked into South Bend and put up over 40 points. I know that it was a hold. I agree with you. It is a missed call. But it is your fault, Notre Dame, that you allowed the game to be in that particular position. And the results on the field have got to matter. And I want to continue to see these games get played. And guess what? The committee has sent a message this year that those games do in fact matter. And you are rewarded for them. And the outcomes do matter. And that to me is good for the sport. And Notre Dame going out here and crying about this and not playing in a bowl game. Come on, man. Come on. That's so unbelievably soft. Florida State was 13-0. They were left out of the 4-team playoff, which is a completely different debate because there were only 4 teams. They're left out. They went and played, even though they knew deep down, well, maybe they didn't know. They had to have half an idea that they were going to get their butts kicked, and they did. But you know what? They showed up and played the football game. And yeah, we can have a larger conversation about bowl season, what it means. I like bowl season. I'm one of the few people that I will throw bowl season on all day. I don't care who's playing. I like watching college football because you know what I noticed once January 21st rolls around after the national championship? There's no college football on my TV, and I wish there was. Are more teams going to start doing this? Gosh, I hope not. Could they? Yeah, it's entirely possible. Entirely possible. But I think this is a ridiculous look for Notre Dame. I think you just went out there and you threw a fit. You're the Fighting Irish. You were in the national championship game last year. You have a chance to go out and prove that you should have been in the college football playoff because you did not prove it on the field so far this season. And yet, you're just going to go home and say, well, we're just looking ahead to next year. Okay. You do that. So that's how we wrap today's show. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. And until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't be like Notre Dame.